Pirates who stormed a container ship in the Gulf of Guinea 2 days ago have not yet made contact with the authorities, Turkey's foreign minister said on Monday. One sailor from Azerbaijan was killed and 15 Turkish crew members were abducted when armed attackers boarded the vessel, which was headed to Cape Town from Lagos. The Liberian-flagged ship, called the Mozart, was attacked on Saturday 100 miles off the coast of Sao Tome Island, according to maritime reports. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu said the vessel with its remaining crew had docked in Gabon, where Turkey was in contact with the authorities. The attack on the Mozart could raise international pressure on Nigeria to do more to protect shippers, analysts suggested. According to an International Maritime Bureau report, pirates in the Gulf kidnapped 130 sailors in 22 incidents last year, accounting for all but 5 of those seized worldwide.
Ничего из того, что там указано в качестве моей собственности, ни мне, ни моим близким родственникам не принадлежит и никогда не принадлежало. Никогда.
Секретный и охраняемый объект в России без привлечения. Это не закрытый дом, не дача, не резиденция. Это целый... Шанс узнать больше про его дворец. Ведь в реконструкции вовлечена куча народу. Подрядчики подтвердили нам, что да, под землю зарыли ледовый дворец, который вообще-то
Former U.S. President Donald Trump opened an office in Florida on Monday to continue his administration's agenda and handle his duties as a former president. In a statement, the office said, quote, "The office will be responsible for managing President Trump's correspondence, public statements, appearances, and official activities to advance the interests of the United States and to carry on the agenda of the Trump administration through advocacy, organizing, and public activism." Trump's announcement came the same day the U.S. House of Representatives delivered his second impeachment charges to the Senate for inciting insurrection at the Capitol earlier this month. The Senate trial is expected to start on February 9th.
One of the policies right now that the Biden administration wants to do, that's not an immigration strategy. That's an open border strategy. And the smuggling organization, the migrants, are loud and clear, and the crisis has already begun.
It has not even been a week since President Biden was sworn in, yet his immigration proposals are already making a negative impact. There were reports of a second caravan forming in Central America now, just days after Guatemalan forces broke up a caravan of thousands hoping to reach the U.S. Evidently, they dispersed. They didn't disband. Here to react, the chairman of the National Sheriff's Association Border Committee, Cochise County, Arizona Sheriff Mark Daniels. Sheriff, have you seen this difference that Mark Morgan's talking about?
I have, Brian, and you know this executive order. It's troublesome. It's hasty. We've worked so well over the years, and why we need a secure border is just common sense, and I can articulate that to you. But yeah, we have since the primary till now. Our statistics in Cochise County, we have a virtual camera system. 800 cameras are deployed. We've doubled those coming into our county and along the southwest border.
Around this time last year, Benjamin Netanyahu didn't make much of Arab votes. But it seems the Israeli Prime Minister has since had a change of heart. In the last 2 weeks, he has visited towns such as Fahim and Nazareth, hoping to secure Arab support ahead of the March elections. He says his remarks in 2015 urging Jews to offset Arab voters were taken out of context. Arabs make up 20% of Israel's population. Their feelings about Netanyahu are mixed. According to polls conducted by the Israel Democracy Institute, more than 87% of Arab votes in the previous election went to the Joint List party. But this time it could be far less. Latest polls suggest the Arab alliance may lose a third of its seats come March. Leading pollster Yusuf Maklada says Arabs are turning away from the Joint List simply because the alliance has achieved little.
Shifting our focus to Italy now, Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte is all set to resign as political turmoil grips Italy. Speculations are rife that Conte will attempt to form a new government. According to reports, he will meet the Italian president to seek a mandate for government formation. The move comes after Conte's government survived a no-confidence vote in the Senate. However, his government was left severely weakened as it failed to secure a Senate majority. The ruling coalition has been walking on thin ice after the withdrawal of major alliance partner. Meanwhile, experts are divided on how Conte will form a new government. This as his alliance partners are against snap polls. However, they have vowed to continue support for him. Experts now believe that Conte wants to avoid further humiliation in the parliament. This as his resignation comes ahead of a key vote on judicial reforms later this week.
The protests today caused a lot of disruption to Delhi. This was a product of, today's protest was a product of long negotiations between the protesters who have been camped outside just of Delhi and the police. And what had been agreed is that the protesters, there were thousands of tractors that had come for this tractor protest, that they would stick to agreed routes. There was 3 agreed routes, about 50 kilometres each, and we saw tens of thousands of tractors, hundreds of thousands of people walking along these routes. But there was a lot of perhaps excitement at the start of the day, and already by around 10 o'clock local time there were reports of people breaking through these police barricades to try and get towards central Delhi. Eventually that did happen. It is in the thousands. It wasn't the majority of protesters who ended up inside Delhi, but they got to, for instance, the tax office, which is like a major junction here in Delhi, and then they got all the way to the Red Fort.
More than 430 million rand. That's how much was spent here in Gauteng to decontaminate, disinfect and deep clean schools. A report into the spending has been compiled by the Provincial Education Department's HOD. The Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi is joining us now, and by all accounts he's not happy with those numbers. MEC, good afternoon to you. How did this happen, do you think?
Good afternoon, Jeremy. I think it happened purely because we're really under pressure to monitor some of the transaction and also to check whether things were done correctly. But I must indicate that when the journalist that was writing the story contacted me and requested information and also alerted me that authorities were not cooperating.
The Iskar River near the town of Svoge has now been cleaned up. Torrential rain carried garbage from the capital Sofia and other nearby towns to a hydroelectric dam located 40 kilometers away. The cleanup proved a difficult operation. It took regional and national authorities several days to plan the technical details and find the necessary funding.
It took over a week to clean up the floating landfill here in Svoge, and it became increasingly difficult to actually pick up the trash, so cleaners had to become more inventive.
Collecting all the plastic bottles, refrigerators, tree trunks and other waste was a major task. Workers first used machines to scoop up the waste. Loose rubbish was then gathered up using hooks. A crane then had to be called in with a billboard frame used as a giant rake. Boats and heavy machinery were also used to break up and transport the rubbish.